All right, let's talk about procrastination. We're going to break down that universal struggle, not as some kind of character flaw, but as what it really is, a fundamental conflict happening right inside our own brains. If that sounds even vaguely familiar, trust me, you are not alone. It's the classic story of pulling off a miracle at the last possible second. But what is actually going on in our heads when this happens, over and over again? Okay, let's really get into it. So, to really wrap our heads around the procrastinator's mind, writer Tim Urban came up with this brilliant and, let's be honest, hilarious metaphor that just clicks. This really breaks it down perfectly. See, every brain has a rational decision maker. That's the part that wants to do productive, sensible things. But in the procrastinator's brain, there's a co-pilot, the instant gratification monkey. And this monkey only cares about one thing, what's easy and fun right now. So when they disagree, guess who usually yanks the wheel? And you know exactly where the monkey drives you. It's that YouTube spiral about historical cheese making when you're supposed to be finishing a report. You're doing something that should be fun, but you can't actually enjoy it because of that looming deadline. That, my friends, is the dark playground. It's the monkey's happy place. So you might be asking, if the monkey is always grabbing the wheel, how does anything ever get done? Well, luckily, we have a secret weapon. Think of it as a guardian angel. The panic monster. Now, he's asleep most of the time, but when a deadline gets terrifyingly close or there's a risk of major public embarrassment, he wakes up and he scares that monkey right up a tree, finally letting your rational decision maker take control again. But look, this isn't just some funny story with cartoon characters. There's real science here explaining why that monkey has so much power over us. And believe it or not, this is a battle that's been raging in our heads for thousands of years. The ancient Greeks were so familiar with this feeling, they actually gave it a name, akrasia. It perfectly describes that state of knowing what you should do, but for some reason being completely unable to make yourself do it. So yeah, this is not a new problem. It's a timeless one. And this right here gets to the heart of the problem. Psychologists call it time inconsistency. Our brains are just wired to care way more about what our present self wants than what our future self needs. You know, your future self wants to be healthy, finish that novel, be financially stable, but your present self, it just wants a donut. And guess which one is actually in control of your body? So here's the most important thing to get. Putting something off isn't a sign that you're lazy. It's an emotional regulation problem. It's your brain's clumsy, primitive attempt to protect you. When you face a task that brings up feelings of dread or fear of failure or just plain insecurity, your brain's threat detector, your amygdala, basically treats it like a real danger and screams, "Run away!" Okay, but this is where the story gets a little more complicated. Because as it turns out, not all procrastination is created equal. The kind we all joke about is one thing, but there's a much sneakier and frankly more dangerous version out there. See, when you have a hard deadline, the panic monster eventually comes and saves the day. The pain is intense, but it's short term. But what about the really, really important things in life that don't have deadlines? You know, starting that business, learning an instrument, getting in shape, spending more time with your family. There's no deadline for those things. So the panic monster, he never wakes up. And this is the point where procrastination stops being a funny little quirk and starts becoming a major source of deep, long-term unhappiness and regret. It's that quiet, nagging feeling that you're just a spectator in your own life, watching the years pass by, knowing all the big things you want to do, but never, ever starting. Okay, I know that got a little heavy, but there's good news. Now that we understand why this happens, we can actually build a toolkit of strategies to fight back against the monkey and finally reclaim that driver's seat. The whole goal with these tricks is to remove the friction of just getting started. The monkey hates friction, so you make the first step so ridiculously easy that you just can't say no. You want to read more? Don't commit to a chapter. Just commit to reading one single page. That's it. That's the win. Now, for daily structure, this century-old method is absolute gold. It forces you to make tough decisions about what actually matters. And then, this is key, to focus on only one thing at a time. It completely gets rid of that "what should I do next" feeling, which is one of the monkey's favorite traps. All right, here's a really powerful and, yeah, deeply counterintuitive idea from neuroscientist Andrew Huberman. This is for those moments when you're just truly, completely stuck in the mud. So when you're procrastinating, you're basically in a low motivation state. a dopamine trough. The idea here is that instead of waiting around for motivation to just magically appear, you force it. By deliberately doing something that's safely uncomfortable, like taking a cold shower, you actually jolt your brain's chemistry. You get back to your normal baseline level of motivation much, much faster.
So we have the metaphors, we have the science, we have the tools to fight back. But even with the best toolkit in the world, we still need a reason to use it, right? What's the ultimate motivation to finally take control? For that, we really need to zoom out.
And this is so important to remember. This struggle is universal. That monkey lives in all of our brains, and his sneakiest trick is convincing us to put off the big, important, life-changing things, the things that don't have deadlines. When you see it all laid out like this, it hits different. It creates this profound, immediate sense of urgency. This is it. This is all the time we get. It's not some infinite resource. It really makes you stop and think. Which boxes are you letting the monkey fill with trips to the dark playground? So that's the final question. What are you putting off that truly matters to you? The job for all of us is to stay aware of that monkey and to make sure that we're the ones holding the wheel, filling in these precious boxes with intention. Thanks for watching.